Welcome, I'm the DeadwoodJedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I've got on the channel with me Mr. YST. We are on the road to Ultra Night. We were doing the free-to-play, and I thought we would get together. And he thought, actually, it was a great idea. I was like, yeah, let's do this. We're going to get together. We're going to talk a little bit about Clan Boss in the very early game. For those of us, like, at the very, very beginning. What to look for, what to look out for. You know, what to focus on, that sort of thing. So YC, Dan, thank you so much for coming on and spend some time hanging out with me.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy to be here. It's been a little while and we finally get to catch up and stuff, so we've been enjoying it, right? On top of that, you said you're on the road to Ultra Nightmare, but as a challenger, all right, I'm going to stop you in your tracks. That road is going to get cut in half. Do you know, like one of those like Disney shows where you throw out one of the spikes onto the road and kind of stop someone? So you'll be stuck on Nightmare and I would just be like, jumping over you, swapping your hats and stuff, and then
all right. You're threatening the hat now. You know that those are fighting words, right? I'm just you know, I'm okay with it. I know how to defend myself, right? You know, but I just want to make sure you're okay.
I think that we should make a little friendly bet, like if I win, if I get to Ultra Nightmare before you, like I get one of your hats, and then if you go there before me, I have to give you a Genzen mask and I have to ship it out to you. Does that sound like a cool deal?
That's actually not a bad deal. Okay, wait, is it who gets there first or who does like what's the threshold that we're aiming for here?
Four key Ultra Nightmare, I think is a pretty fair one, right?
4 key Ultra Nightmare.
4 key, yeah.
Okay.
You done?
You're on.
You done?
You're on.
All
You're
right.
on. First 4 key Ultra Nightmare.
Yes, 4 key Ultra Nightmare. First one to get there, that trade-off.
Second question, full auto or manual okay?
I think manual's okay. Yeah.
Man, come on! Don't make me get in there and do the manual thing. That's
well, we got to push it, like, because I need you to get to Ultra Nightmare. It's fun for everybody to watch, right? And if we set a little wager, you're gonna be like, do you know what? YST's not getting there before me, so it's gonna be fun.
All right, yeah, you guys heard it first. You heard it here first. I really didn't plan on doing this, but this is what we're doing. First, the 4 key Ultra Nightmare gets the other's hat.
Guys, I'll tell you what it is. It's the revenge, right? Because we did the Clan Boss draft, right? And obviously I looked so bad in 4th place and I had to do my sad story and all that stuff.
I disagree, but go on.
So now I get to get a bit of redemption here, hopefully. It's like a Clan Boss draft inside of another challenge, so yeah, it's pretty fun.
Sure. Yep. You get redemption or just ridiculed all over again, my friend.
That's probably what's gonna happen, if I'm honest.
First off, there was no ridicule going on. I'm just talking a little smack, but yeah, I think this is a good bet. I'm down with this. I feel like I can be a good challenger for this. We'll see what we do, but I guess let's get in. Let's talk about it. What we're talking about is, of course, Clan Boss, and we're talking about it in the very early game, right? You know, my account. This is what I mean. I think I've recorded 3 videos today. This is day 7. I'm on day 8, right? I'm in the middle of day 8. We're about to hit reset, so it's almost day 9. But Clan Boss time, I'm currently crushing easy and pulling up a big, I mean, just big, massive as I go down to the bottom. 2 million a key damage. 1 king, no, easy. We got YST up here. 4.77 million, just going over, you know, just being kind of annoying with it, really, is I think how that goes down. Then we have normal, right? Let's see, YST.
I got one affinity, though. It was force affinity. So it's usually a 1 key.
All I heard was excuses. But he's in a 2 key stage here, going with 3 million right there. And I'm at, looks like I'm a 4 key. 4 key normal right now is where I appear to be at, right? And then hard. YC, have you done a hard one yet today?
Yeah, I did 1 key.
Look at this guy, this tryhard over here. 3.5 million, really nice. But
guys, it's just the early Clan Boss, all right? This is probably not gonna last for that long. Next week, Deadwood's gonna be in like Ultra Nightmare, and I'll be like, damn, gotta send that Genzen mask.
All right, let's be real. The early parts of this game, like results are, you know, very RNG based off the champions you pull, the gear that you pull, the rolls that they get. It's not, you know, there is no like I don't know. Like, this is great that you're doing this stage already and you're doing this level. Like, that's honestly very commendable. But at the same time, you know, for someone like me who's not anywhere close to that point, I shouldn't be discouraged by this, right? Like, this is still real early in the process of things. Wouldn't you agree?
No, 100%. Yeah. Like, even for me, like being able to craft a team, although it's only 3.5 million on a hard clan boss, like I got really excited to do these kind of damages because it kind of just shows how quickly you can progress through the ranks, through these stages, right? Because when I first started, not sure about you, I was on easy, like for at least a month when I first started raid. Like, we was like, oh, can you get an extra key in here? Can you get an extra key in here? And we'd all go together and try kill the easy clan boss. So to see that it is possible to get these things done in a week, of course it's intensive with the way that we're playing, but it just shows the possibilities that with some rare champions, 160, of course some good epics out there, but you can attain them through the promo codes, right? So yeah, it's been a lot of fun for me anyway.
I 100% agree. I mean, I don't even think I was in a clan my first month playing. So, you know, this is already like, oh my God, we can do all these things. This, like, legitimately, I was kind of like, oh, that's right. There's a clan. Oh, there's a clan shop. Oh my gosh, there's clan boss keys. I had totally not even thought about it. So
little did you know that the clan would end up being the clan boss master. And then you ended up doing this whole journey because you wanted to just say, oh, I want to join the clan today.
So true.
True,
But
yeah.
I figure one of the things, you know, why don't you talk me through like what you think is, I have definitely a few things that I feel like if you're going to focus on clan boss, these are the steps you want to take. And, you know, and also like how important, you know, this part of the game is early on. But why don't you take us through like some of the things that you think are really important when you're talking about clan boss in the very early stages? We're talking easy, normal, hard levels here. Like what are the most important things you think?
All right, so yeah, I'm going to keep to just basic fundamentals off the top of my head. And the first thing that stands out to me is poison debuffs. They scale very, very well in the early clan boss. And that is why most players for their starter champion tend to go for KO, because he's going to deal all of those poisons, give you that instant damage, and allow you to start getting chests pretty much from the jump if he's at least level 50, right? And I kind of noticed that throughout our challenge, that most of the players that got the KO right was doing more damage than everyone else, purely based on that A3 and the A1 as well, proccing it off. So that alone is actually very, very strong, right?
This, I mean, it was always something that I've heard as like Kale's the best starter, and I always kind of agreed with it, but I've never really played with him, or like, you know, it would never seem that big a deal to me. But actually playing through it right now, after having gone through everything already, right, it is abundantly clear to me that Kale is like overwhelmingly the best champion to start with, without any doubt. The fact that he can still solo farm everything that the other champions can do, but the fact that he brings poisons, which are so valuable for Dragon, so valuable for clan boss, is absolutely game changing. Literally everybody else that is doing really good numbers has a Kale on their team. You know, it is like the one champion that is, you know, changing all of that. If you look here, like, you know, there's a Kale. We got his own poisoners here, but, you know, pretty much there's going to be a poisoner in every one of these teams, and most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them will have a Kale on their account, or they got like, you know, multiple level 60s or legendaries.
Yeah, and just remember, guys, like throughout the challenge, we actually had a spin the wheel mechanic. So most of the players here probably would have chosen a KO, but obviously we just had to run with what was given to us, right?
Exactly. Well, you know, there's one champion I want to point out as I think we just hit reset, so fun times coming forward for me. One of the champions I want to point out, and actually, I'm not even sure where he is. I think he's here in Sacred Order. That I think everybody has access to, and is going to be unbelievable early game. You know, rivals Kale really, as far as like attainable and great champion for clan boss is Outlaw Monk. Like this, the fact that he has 2 poisons, and when you book him, which isn't hard, you just find another Outlaw Monk on a 3-turn cooldown, makes him incredibly, incredibly valuable. I fed mine to get my Rhonda 6-star, and the result has literally been my damage dropped in half for clan boss. Even putting in a 6-star Rhonda instead is basically what I did, and my damage dropped by half in this early stage. It's crazy.
No, he's a phenomenal champion. Seriously, like being able to just place those poisons. He's free to book by just summoning mystery shards, guys. or just getting them from the marketplace if you get lucky enough to see one. And you can literally just throw the dupes into him, get your poison damage, and if you don't happen to have a KO or you don't want a KO, you still have a way in the game for easy poison damage in the early stages of Clan Boss, and I think that's pretty cool with the Outlaw Monk.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Hey, like outside of getting a poisoner in, which I think we're hands down saying this is the best way to go for early damage in Clan Boss. What are the other things that you definitely want to try to bring in if you have them available on your account?
The fundamentals for me would be decrease attack champion. That alone is going to instantly boost the duration of your runs. I'm definitely seeing it now with the Coffin Smasher. He's a great example. Having the free time hitter decrease attack. Very, very huge. And I'd say when you're looking for these champions, of course, you can use ones with active skills, but having it on a default skill is something that you're really looking for, right? Because you're allowed to just proc that off, try and get lucky, even if you don't have the books. And that's really cool. And also the drop defense is very important, or the weaken debuffs. If you have a way to bring those in, you'll instantly see a boost to your damage there. Alongside one of the most important things, which would be masteries on your first champion. You'll start to see the way that it scales and gives you millions, literally millions of damage just by having those tier 6 masteries on, which I'm sure we'll speak about properly in a second. But
yeah, I mean, that's the kind of that for me, that's the one thing that becomes the second most important thing for your Clan Boss teams is getting masteries, right? I've always said, people always ask about speed tuning early levels like here, right? And I'm like, don't.
No.
Don't speed tune anything. All you need to do is get masteries on your champions, and you'll ascend up to you'll be able to beat hard. You'll probably be able to beat brutal just with masteries on your champions. And you and I know we both know the biggest thing when it comes to masteries are going to be those War Master and Giant Slayer procs, right? You get here in the tier 6, that War Master, that Giant Slayer, they just do crazy amounts of damage on the Clan Boss, which is all increased by the same debuffs you were talking about earlier, decreased defense and weaken, and becomes really, really, helpful for your team as far as doing damage, And
one thing that some people don't really know is, that I've seen in the community when they're starting off, which is fine, is War Master. You want champions with 1 to 2 hitters. So champions like K with the A1 ability and stuff like that, right? Or whoever that may be. And then, of course, champions with 3+ hits. So somebody like a Ronda could be a good candidate for this. If you're using it in your Clan Boss team, you'll start to see a better value with the Giant Slayer procs. And both of these do scale off lifesteal, and they do scale off leech debuffs in case you get the Deacon Armstrong promo code, which allows you to heal by 18% of the damage inflicted. So if you are scaling with the War Master damage, right, and then you manage to get one of those War Master procs with the leech debuff up and the lifesteal, that champion's going to full HP instantly, right?
Fully healed.
And and that's kind of where I'm getting my damage from at the moment in the hard Clan Boss, is basically off the leech and the lifesteal, and that's how I'm surviving. So these tier 6 masteries, scaling up those max HP, is very, very crucial here, alongside the other stuff in the defensive tree and the support 100%. Tree too.
100%. I if I can, just a couple of addendums I'd make to that is you mentioned the number of hits you get every turn matters which one you take. War Master is going to proc every attack, whereas Giant Slayer will proc for every hit you do. Now, there's a 30% chance of Giant Slayer and a 60% chance of War Master. So basically, you said if you get 3 or more attacks, 3 or more hits, Giant Slayer is the way to go, and that's usually the the rule of thumb to abide by. But I would actually say that it is even more than that. It's like 2, if you get more than 2 hits over the course of your attack. So the way I always do it is I add up how many attacks, like I'll go through what's my longest cooldown. Like if I have a 3-turn cooldown, it's my longest cooldown. Then I'll add up every attack I'm going to get over those 3 turns until my cooldowns refresh and I use all my skills again. If those skills add up to more than two hits per attack, then I would actually go Giant Slayer. If it adds up to less than that, I would go War Master. And if it is 2 hits per attack, you can pretty much choose either one, and you'll be okay either way.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
I was just trying to be like early game-ish in a sense, like just the basics, because obviously there is some. It's just I didn't want to confuse everyone, right? So obviously, if there is some active skills of like triple hitters or double hitters, and you're getting to recycle the abilities, of course. I
made it a little bit more complex than it needed to be. That's the name of my game.
It's true. It's good to kind of include those things because that is important. But obviously, I'd say early game, that's kind of the rule of thumb, right? one to
Right.
two hitters, War Master, multi-hitters, Giant Slayer. That's
True.
kind of the traditional things that we kind of focus on.
And,
Early game anyway.
and to bring it back to what I was saying is that if you don't have more than three hits on one of your attacks, you're never going to have more than 2 hits per turn anyway, right? So like you have to have a triple hit champion to even have the possibility of saying Giant Slayer is going to be a better option. And so that's how I say that, so I don't sound stupid when I was, going over and correcting you. The one other thing I would say, which a lot of people don't recognize, is that the clan boss is very little defense in the early parts, like early, normal, hard clan boss, very little defense. It's actually more beneficial bringing in a weakened debuff than a decreased defense debuff. It's one of those things where if you can choose, weakened's going to be more beneficial. It makes somebody like Aethel a much more viable clan boss champion early on, but it's not a huge difference either way, and having both is very valuable. And if you only have one, that's great. There's not a reason not to bring it in, right? But that is something to kind of recognize. Is like, well, I think a lot of people will, because in the later parts of the game, decreased defense is way, way, way more valuable than weaken, and so we lean that way. But it's important not to forget the value of something like weaken, or if you get a champion like, say, Bulwark, who brings a smaller version of the weekend, it can be extremely powerful for your team because it is so helpful to the damage that you do deal out there. But like
100%. Yeah. I was saying, loads of people actually didn't know that the way that the weekend scales in the earlier clan bosses because of that those stats, right? And that kind of carries up to, I'd say, maybe hard, right? And then once you start to get into brutal, you want the drop defense kind of. I believe it's the hard or the brutal. It starts to kind of. I
believe at brutal it's about even, and at nightmare decreased defense is just slightly more valuable. But it's not a huge difference at either of those stages. Yeah.
But both are, like, if you can bring in both, of course, bring those in, right? You want to be able to scale both if you can. If you have the luxury of having somebody who does a weaken, like in A4 with the A1, and then you've got a Deacon Armstrong who does it on the A2. Pairing both, you're not going to see any diminishing returns or anything like that. But it is good to know that if you only have a weakened champion and you haven't got the luxury of a drop defense, you will see a lot of value from that in the early stages for sure.
It's really valuable. The other thing that I thought you pointed out that I think is absolutely on point and really, really, really good to bring up is making sure you have somebody that gives you decreased attack. That can be extremely valuable, even in the early game, because your champions don't have a lot of defense. They don't have a lot of HP. Once the clan boss starts hitting harder and harder and harder, it's really easy for a run to get called short. But, I noticed you mentioned it earlier, you have a Coffin Smasher who's incredibly good at that sort of thing. Champion. I have a Venom Mage who's, at this point in my account, not being fully ascended, not being fully booked, mediocre at best, right? And I can definitely feel that difference, right? When the decreased attack is out there, my team is like tanky. We're like fine. We're shrugging off those hits like it ain't nothing. When he doesn't, though, we're fighting for our lives. It's a daily. It's a grind. I don't have much faith in us. I feel like it's all gonna go downhill very fast. So I think that is one of the other things that being able to bring that in is really helpful. But if we can pivot a little bit, like what I know that you're starting to really, push higher and harder, right? Like you're tackling normal, easy. You're tackling easy, obviously. Say that 3 times fast. And then you're tackling hard already. How important is Clan Boss in these early stages of the game?
A Clan Boss, guys, is literally your daily dopamine, right? If you're looking for something to open every day for free, which isn't shards, then it's your Clan Boss chest, right? And that's kind of like the only place in the game where you can get your skill tomes on a daily basis. You know how hard it is to get books, guys? You get a couple from the Doom Tower a month if you're lucky, and then you get like lucky in the arena chest or something, or some milestone rewards. But away from that, like talking about the whole of your journey in Raid, taking it all the way up until the end game, Clan Boss stands as the best place in the game to get your shards, your books, your accessories, not your accessories, sorry, your artifacts and all of that good stuff, and your gems, potion keeps, your pots, like everything is in the Clan Boss, right? And that's why I always say Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss should always be your mind when you're starting this game. Now, it is intimidating. It is going to take you a while to get there, and that's okay. But even at those hard or brutal stages, even just the potions and the gems, man, they really, really add up, especially when you kind of get dry on your resources, like I'm feeling at the moment. You're like, damn, where can I get my resources from? Look no further than the Clan Boss, right? Those gems are going to really help you out. Buy your gem mines, start unlocking some other stuff, buy some energy, and really start progressing your account, right? on a daily basis.
I'm already feeling like that the immortal gear being really, really valuable for me.
It's huge. Cruel
really
gear,
valuable.
immortal gear, basically the better versions of the like offense gear and stuff like that. You start to ignore some defense. You start to heal by, I believe, 3% every turn with the immortal that can stack up to 9% with the full set, right? So yeah, man, there's lots of potential to get some really cool pieces. And did you get lucky at all on your journey so far with like a good piece in the early stages?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
Not particularly, I would say. I've got some. I did get one, like, I got a couple of interesting Swift Parry pieces. Like, I did get a Swift Parry,
Look at the
boots,
flex,
5-star.
man. Speed boots? What?
Boots. Yeah. So,
no.
I got that. I got a couple accuracy chests in perception.
No, they're
which was
used.
interesting.
Do
Like,
you
I
know
got
what?
one
Accuracy
perception.
chess is something I'm actually after, because trying to get the stats at these stages about a Great Hall development is actually stuff that I'm putting on stuff like Coffin Smasher, because like once you start getting to hard and brutal and stuff, I don't have the accuracy or any banners or anything right now, because Spider's so hard to come by. So I feel like if you've got those debuffers, you want the accuracy stats. And for those lower stages, as long as you got some defense percent on your gloves or something, you're good to go, right?
Early on, those forge materials are just so valuable. Getting that
I got
perception
so
gear,
unlucky, you know.
crazy.
I never got. I think I got one perception weapon. The rest has been garbage for me.
I have to say, like, for me, one of the things is, like, I don't even care how bad it is at this point. Like, if it's perception,
Just keep it for the stats.
If honestly, the extra 40 accuracy is worth almost no matter what the other stats are at this point. Just putting it on certain champions, If I can get speed boots and one other speed set piece, that's already I'm already like 50 speed up. And a lot of my champions are really slow right now, and that's okay. That's just where we're at,
Yeah.
And I think that actually ties in with a little bit what you're saying about like how important clan boss is, and it's incredibly important, right? Both in the early game and in the late game, like you do get solid rewards out of it. But I also feel like, and this might explain like why I'm struggling a little bit right now, and maybe it's just a little bit different philosophy that you and me have too. And as you can see, many of these people are pushing very hard, very fast. I'm not worried about clan boss. I don't care about the early level rewards as much. And part of it is I don't feel like, and I think this is true, I don't think any of this gear I'm going to get in easy and normal is going to be long-term gear on my account. They might help me in the moment,
not.
but it's not going to be long-term. And same thing with hard, right? Most of this stuff is going to be 4-star. Occasionally you might get 1 5-star piece, but like generally it's not going to be crazy. I'm going to get a potion here or there, a couple gems, like stuff that's helpful. Don't get me wrong. I need it. I want it. I need all of it. Literally anything I can get, I will take. But I don't feel like any of it's going to be game-changing right now. And so I don't want to deviate from my current path to make sure that I have a competitive clan boss team, right? So, like, for example, I fed my Outlaw Monk because I knew getting a 6-star champion was going to be more valuable than staying competitive in clan boss, right? I was like, well, I'm not going to level somebody else to 40 and 5-star just so I can keep Outlaw Monk going here. At the same token, I'm probably not going to get another Outlaw Monk and try and level him up again. I don't feel like having that champion's really going to be that crucial to me. Right now, if I have to struggle a little bit and stay a little bit behind you guys in some of this stuff, I don't feel like that's going to set me back at a point where I can't recover from. If I can instead use that time and energy towards other things. Now here's a caveat, right? I need somebody to level up other people with. If it's an Outlaw Monk, that's not a bad thing, right? So, like, if I pull one, I'll probably be ranking him up and leveling him up, but I don't want to invest too much into him, just so I can stay competitive for an area that I don't feel like... I feel like later on I'm going to be able to be very successful at. I don't have to spend up all my stuff right now. But, I mean... that's just my feeling at the moment. I haven't done a new account in forever. Like, do you think I'm crazy? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I gonna, feel the pain later on? Am I sending you a hat because of this? Like, I need to, where am I at?
I think it plays with, in my personal opinion, not to completely like go against your point, but I feel like the way that I'm going is, I've not really spoken about it too much, is I'm trying to build champions that are versatile for clan boss and versatile for dungeons. So people like Deacon Armstrong,
Great.
Prime example, right? Champions like Coffin Smasher, I'm taking into these dungeons to help me progress. So my team is actually, the champions that I'm building up are ones that can be used in Clan Boss up until Nightmare at least. And I'm not really worried about Ultra Nightmare right now. I'm thinking about Nightmare. and champions that can help me beat my missions and beat my challenges at the same time. So I'm not just thinking just clan boss, but in the back of my mind, when I'm ranking these champions, I'm thinking about versatility and how many places I can use these champions alongside the clan boss, so I can optimize as much rewards and double dip in as many ways as possible. So that's kind of my insight at the moment. Yeah,
I think that's really smart. I think that's absolutely the right approach to this. You know, regardless of how important we might think clan boss is at this early stage, I think you're 100% right. If you're building a champion, you got to use them everywhere, right? We only have so many champions that are good, and keeping that in mind, I think, is a great point. Like, I love the fact that you have a marked on your account, one of the best rare champions, great for clan boss, even, you know, into Nightmare. I think going to be really, really effective for you, and can be brought into Ultra Nightmare if you need her. And the fact that you have her now, she's still going to be useful in other areas of the game and in other stages. She has a decreased defense, which people forget about, and it's actually pretty helpful if you need it. That increased defense buff, the block debuffs buff, those are all really helpful just for progression stuff. And I don't think there's any way you would regret, you know, having her on your account or leveling her up, right? So like that,
I love that champion. I was saying before with Hades that I use this champion to get through the whole of the campaign up until Brutal, alongside my El Hain to freestart everything, get my sacred shots. She's doing clutch for me with the big version, increased defense and block debuffs. And at rank 40, she's doing the AoE damage for the waves, right? And I feel like it's a very strong thing for my account so far. Not to say I'm going to take it to a 6-star or anything like that, but I might do. Like, it's not like out of the question. If I don't pull anything else that is like a better caliber of her for base stats, there's no reason why I can't build somebody like a Marked, right?
Why not?
Because she's very easy to book, very easy to potion, right? All of these things you have to consider: block debuffs, increased defense, A1 drop defense for other places. I don't know. I feel like she's a strong candidate, but
I agree. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I agree. I've been very fortunate in like the champions I've gotten. I've had some really good pulls. I had a Coffin Smasher. I had a Marked. I ended up feeding all of those champions to get to the point I am. And in a lot of ways, I kind of regret it. Like, these are champions that I know have value in this game, but I also know that, you know, advancing certain parts of my account right now is going to take precedence over a lot of that. I kind of, you know, part of me wishes I could can I just hold on to all these delicious little pieces here? But, you know, you have to make those choices.
I'm in the same boat. I feel like I could be more like you. I'm just not brave enough.
I don't feel brave. Let me tell you. I feel, if anything, I feel the opposite. I feel like I'm weak-willed. I can't sacrifice anyone.
The main thing for me is, like, I'm really enjoying being able to look at these champions in a new light and being able to, like, not just go for the stuff that I usually do, like looking for like, of course I want the god tier champions and be competitive, but in the works, because it is a big grind, it's something that's going to be going on for ages. I want to be able to try out these new champions, such as a Marked. I've never used one. I knew how good she was, but I never used her. Coffin Smasher, never used him. Like, half my squad, even at Anax, I've never used him. It's my first time. So on my account anyway, I've used them on takeovers, but
they're all great.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm having fun with it, like building up these fun little teams and seeing what's capable. But I feel like Anax definitely gonna be a part of our Ultra Nightmare squad. I can't see why not. Drop defense, weaken, poisons. He's got everything that a Razin Scarhide is gonna bring for me, right? So I don't even have to do a Razin because of somebody like a, you know what I mean? So
that's huge. That's huge, actually. Yeah,
he's a huge
really good point. Hey man, well, thank you so much for coming on. I think I talked actually a lot about Clan Boss and brought up a lot of good points, and even show that you can have some slight differences of opinion and approaches. And I think, well, I mean, we'll see who's successful. I mean, obviously, I'm the right one, and I'll be the most successful. But you know, you have some good ideas too. Hopefully. I just want that game to match.
So it is. With me, I've got it all in my head. I can visualize the Ultra Nightmare runner, right? I can see it. It's there. It's just, can we get there first?
Yeah. What's your team? What is your Ultra Nightmare team? So, like, tell me what it is. Like, you have it. You said you have it in your head already, right? Like,
yes. But
tell me what it is.
Okay, so do it is, if I do, I'm setting myself up for failure. But I'll say basically,
I'll tell you what my team is going to be. Just to balance that.
I know what your team's going to be. I know what it is without even telling me. It's going to be an Elva 2-1, like an Eris comp, and you're banking on Demiffa to pop out. That's what you want.
I mean, okay. Let me talk about my team then. I don't plan on running an unkillable team. It's not.
That's good to hear, because I'm not either.
First off, I can't bank on it, right? Obviously, if I get it, it's free to play, it's a competition, I'm going to use what I get. But That's not my goal, and that's not my focus. But yeah, 2-1 ratio team is the easiest way to get massive damage in Clan Boss. So that's 100% what I will be looking forward to doing. And Elva is one of the best at this. Best champion on my account. I'm gonna absolutely use her. Right now, how do I use her? I'm not sure yet. I mean, I'm planning on. I think ideally I'd like to get a buff extender. And be able to 2-1 ratio with her. But if I get another speed champion on 3-turn cooldown, use what you get. Combined with that, Venom Mage is going to be massive for me. He brings me decreased attack. He brings me poisons, right? But more importantly, he brings me decreased attack, decreased defense, and the sweet passive that reduces the damage we take. And that's going to be probably more important than anything else. Combined with that, he does have this poison activation. I don't really care about that much. But the rest of his kit is going to be huge for me. Because of that, though, I'm probably going to need another poisoner on my squad. So I'm really hopeful I can get somebody, even like a Kale, I would absolutely love right now for my account. But I do need another poisoner to help really maximize what Venom Mage can bring for me. So that's 3 slots. If I bring in an extender, that's 4 slots. Outside of that, now I need protection, right? So now I'm looking for someone that's either going to give me increased defense, ally protection, shield. I need something like that on my squad. And at that point, I'm probably, I'm now, I'm looking for a 6th champion, basically. But that's kind of the foundation that I have established in my head right now. The other alternative idea, which I do like, is if I don't get a poisoner, is instead putting someone in a toxic set. And I think that actually could be really useful for a team that goes at a 2-1 ratio. In those scenarios, I could use somebody like a Rhonda, like a Deacon, to give me more damage, to put Leech out there so I can help with my healing. But right now, my foundation is Venom Mage and Elva. If I book Elva fully, I think that's my core. If I don't, actually, I feel like Frostbringer might be a pretty solid option. She also brings a heal reduction, which will help with the Venom Mage passive ability, right?
Wait, did you know watch Raidzilla? We don't want to see no ice like some Frostbringers.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm using what I got. Okay, don't behave.
No, I see you. It's looking strong.
But yeah, I have pillars, right? And then it's about filling in with what you get to, further maximize that. But right now I do have some foundational pieces, right? And that's, I'm feeling very happy about that. And right now it's centered around Venom Mage and Venom Mage's passive ability, and Elva and her overall utility in her kit. But you have some real good pieces yourself working right now. So having a Nax is just a massive ad for a Clan Boss team, honestly. One of the best
crazy. So the team that I've got in mind, right, and it's obviously going to bank on RNG, is you should know this, Clan Boss draft stuff. My aim is a 1-to-1, all right? That's what I'm hoping for. And I'm going to tank up, because then I don't have to rely on speed. And everyone laughed at me in the Clan Boss draft.
No, I get it.
I feel like that's the best potential, honestly. And another thing that I'm going to be doing is I want to do a revive team. And I think that's how I'm going to do it. I think that's how I'm going to do it the fastest. I think I'm going to go for an AoE reviver, tank them up with so much, and I'm just going to go for pure whack out damage and try and get 13 million a key. What's the key for the Ultra Nightmare? It's the 70 million. So I need 17.5 million, right? Per key.
You need 23 million, I think, a key.
Is it 23 million per key? No.
Oh, I guess not. Yeah, it's 18. It's 18.
So 18 million. My God, we're looking bad, guys.
Not bad. We know what we're doing.
So I feel like if I can do some sort of speed tune with that and incorporate some sort of reviver, if I don't have a counter attack, I really want a Marked. Marked is my one. Not Marked. Martyr. Martyr is my most wanted.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I've never had a Valkyrie on my account. I've never had a Martyr on my account, and I would love to do this journey with one of those 2 champions and see what kind of teams we can do, because they're so cool, right? We've only got 3 AoE counter-attack champions in the game. Hopefully, I'll settle for a Skull Crusher if it comes out, but I'd love one of those legendary champions, because why not? Dream big, get big.
They are fantastic champions. Absolutely. They're gonna if you pull one of them, I'm probably losing this competition to you, but it's okay.
It comes down to 2 things, though. It comes down to a 2-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1 ratio with a counter attack, or a full out brute force team and just bank on revives and clutching it up. And I feel like that's kind of the ways that I could potentially go. Because we got Jamasa as well, right? Jamasa's a huge carry with the way that she revives all dead allies, healing allies and stuff like that. Oh, you ain't got her yet?
No.
You don't want her on your account?
I do want her on my account.
Well, guys, what we're going to do is, I'm going to say this for you, Deadwood. I've got your back, all right?
Thank you.
Guys, he's going to leave his referral link in the description below, all right? We just need 3 people to help him get a Jamasa. And if you want to go even further and help him out more, that's perfectly great. But we're going to get that.
Jamarsa,
we got that.
Give me some sexy books. Give me some, void shards. Hook me up. Hook me up.
Yeah, we got this. Yeah, you get it. You're 100% you'll get it. Guys, make sure you do that. Look, Genzin's saying as well. Yo, guys, we need the referral links right now.
Look, I didn't say it. Genzin did. It's not my choice. You guys have to do it now. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it. So thank you guys. I'll have that down below, I suppose. I'll also have a link to YST's channel. We did a collab already on his channel, so make sure to go check that out. We're kind of just spitballing and talking about the game.
That's the good stuff. That's why we love the free to play, man. It's the best time, right?
It was the best. It was a really good time. So make sure he made me switch my hat too. I'm angry about that. No, I'm just kidding. But it was really good times. And yeah, make sure to keep checking out the free to play stuff because apparently I have to beat him or I have to send him a cowboy hat. So there's incentive here. And you guys want to see me open a video. Don't you want to see me open a video with the Genzin mask? How amazing would that be, right?
The scenes.
That needs to happen. That needs to happen. All right, wait, man. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. I really appreciate it. This was actually really fun conversation. I think very helpful for people. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's early clan boss. Hopefully it was a little bit helpful for folks out there. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
No, 100%. I appreciate you having me. Obviously, it's been overdue. And don't be a stranger. We want to be back here again, catching up with the free-to-plays or whatever it may be. And yeah, I wish you the best on your journey, man. Enjoy it. I've been enjoying all your videos as well. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what you got next and stuff.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow, probably the next day. Thanks again for coming on, buddy. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. So next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.